Okay, so today we have The Associates and Party Fears 2. Now, there are a few different versions of this, but I went with what I guess was called the music video for the song. Anyway, I think it's a single version, I want to say. But either way, this band was requested, and I don't know, the title just grabbed me. And, a new band to me. Let's see what they're all about. The Associates, let's get into it. Let's go.
Standing still, I might, but it's hard to tell. Even a slight remark makes no sense and turns to shock. Have I done something wrong? What's wrong's the wrong that's always the wrong.
My goodness. Okay, so The Associates and Party Fears 2. So I have to stay at the top. I guess I'll say, because I looked up about this band, And because again, I've never heard of them, and I saw, I watched a couple of YouTube videos actually, and I saw Bono, from U2, talking about Billy Mackenzie here, lead singer of the Associates, and how he talked about, I guess, and what I've found, and I've also seen, a couple things from Alan Rankin, obviously guitarist and keyboardist, even though on the keyboards here is Martha Ladley, I guess, and in the video, but I guess Rankin actually played them on the recording. Anyway, and obviously there, and I mean, I'm just gonna say, Billy and Alan, it's two good looking lads. I mean, at least back here in 1982, and I mean, my goodness. Anyway, and Alan has a lot more hair then than he does now, I saw. Anyway, I wanted to say, with Billy, he seems like he was a sensitive soul. That's what I really got, from just, like I said, with Bono talking about him. And also Robert Smith, I saw from The Cure, he talked about him in an interview. Just, random clips I was watching, just because, I don't know, just the band, I don't know, just struck me, I guess. But I guess, yeah, Billy was kind of a sensitive soul. And with this song, I guess, Party Fears 2, it seems like, he's really, I mean, it's about, him being in his head, I feel like, it's about him overthinking everything is really what I get. And especially when he talks about, and I mean, I like the part, I do have to say, when he says, I'm standing still and you say I dress too well. And I mean, in the video, obviously, with the hat, he's got, the suit on and everything. He's looking stylish. The hair looks good. And I like his little shuffling around on the stage or whatever he was doing. Just kind of some dancing or whatever. I don't know. He just looks like he had it all. And so I just had to say, I like that part where he says, you say I dress too well. I think he dresses pretty well too. Or he dressed well too. And I mean, that's what I have to say as well. Just again, looking up the band and stuff and, doing some research or whatever and seeing that Billy did die by suicide in 1997. Apparently he had depression, and also his mother's death really affected him. So that just sucks to hear, obviously, even though it's 25 years later. But that and again, just everything that I've learned about Billy, and how everyone talks about him, and that he was very much like I said, a sensitive soul. I mean, so I don't know. So that just gave everything. Just added more to the song for me, and also with his voice. I mean, you talk about a sensitive. It's almost like opera or something. I don't know, and the way he pronounces every word, and it's obviously he's a distinctive high tenor. But it's more than that. I mean, my God, his voice is just so different. It's unlike anything I've heard before. And I mean, I'm not just saying that. I mean, his voice is just, like I said, it's almost in a way of like an opera singer or something. And it's just like he has one of those voices where it's just like. If because at the end there he did kind of belt out some of the lyrics, but it's like if he really belted out, I mean, I feel like he could break glass with his voice or something. It was just like I was taken aback, right off the hop. I was just like, hold the phone. I think I even said during the song, at the start there, hold on, what's his voice? And so I was just through the whole thing, his voice was just really great. I just really enjoyed his voice. I mean, it's, like I said, it's a distinct voice, and just I mean, it's dull to say he has a great voice, but he really did have a great voice. I mean, my God. Anyway, I am on genius.com like you usually am, and there is an about here. It's actually a long about, but I just wanted to see here, I guess, I don't know how much I'll read, but I just want to read some things just to, I guess, learn about the song more, for me anyway. So it says, the song whose lyrics were written by Billy Mackenzie and whose melody was composed by Alan Rankin. So I guess, these two were, a duo, really. And obviously, I don't know, I just seeing them on stage, I don't know, it just seemed like they had chemistry, even though, I don't know, just with Rankin, playing the guitar and such, but I don't know, they just seemed cool. I don't know, that's just what I got from them. They seem like two cool dudes. Anyway, it goes on, it highlights on many levels both the relationship Billy had towards the audience and as well as his fear of relationships in his own life that permeates through every one of them. Okay, so yeah, the fear that permeates through all of his relationships. So I guess, and again, this is a very, personal song, I guess you would say. And Party Fears 2, fears right in the title. It goes on, hidden behind the piano melody, which obviously, the keyboards or piano, whatever, throughout the whole song. That's, that's the melody all over. I mean, throughout the whole thing. Like, yeah. And I mean, it's just so catchy. And I'll again, in the video, I just like how Martha, is, and especially at one part where she just puts her hand or whatever and just does it with one hand, because again, it doesn't matter. She's not actually playing it. My goodness. Anyway, yeah, so it goes on, it's behind the piano melody is a very true fear that Billy had, and that he sang out to the world. knowing so few actually understood not only that fear exists, but why it does. And again, it goes on, about in his own life, Billy faced fears in relationships due to the process that he uses to make decisions and other aspects of his life. To him, he understands the only way he can make the correct decision is if he knows what he needs to do beforehand. So again, like I was saying, just with the overthinking, and again, how he talks about have I done something wrong? What's wrong? The wrong that's always been wrong. And again, it's just like, what's wrong with the question, what's wrong is that question is wrong because, something's wrong. It's just like, and again, he's just inside his head, it feels like. And it's just like, we're talking about relationships and everything. It's just like, and how, I guess, he deals with it through, you would say, in the chorus when he says, the alcohol loves you while you're turning blue. View it from here, from closer to near, awake me. And again, it's just like, I guess maybe he relied on alcohol at some points. There are some annotations here actually on Genius. I feel like I'm all over the place here, but but I don't know. That's just what we're going with. So it does say here in an annotation, to remove the fear Billy feels towards relationships and his constant over-analysis on everything involved in the relationships, he drinks to distract himself. And it goes on, but at the end of the day, drinking doesn't really avoid the problem, going on and on. Then he'll inevitably, come back to that problem. So again, talking about drinking, talking about, just things, I guess, just to try to help his, because I guess it sounds like he had anxiety, obviously, as well as, he had depression and such. And like I said, it just seems like, I don't know, because I guess, his career kind of, it declined, I guess, into the 90s and such. And then, he obviously, like I said, he passed away, he, committed suicide. So I don't know, it just seems so sad. I mean, I have to say, that's just really one thing that I've gotten through this whole thing. And now looking at the lyrics and, I guess what they mean and stuff, seeing, that it was real, him talking about his fears. And, it's just like, my God, that's, it's like, yeah, it's sad. It's tragic. But I do have to say, that he talks about as well, I guess where the title comes from, actually. So a quote from Billy, he said on the song title, he said, "My wee brother," I like that, "was at a party watching two girls who wanted to come in. They were smashing windows and attempting to kick in the door with their stiletto heels, my goodness, which he admired. So he christened them the Party Fears 2, and I pinched the title from him." So, you take inspiration wherever you can get it. I mean, my God. But also, apparently, Alan Rankin has also said before, he said he defines a deeper meaning to the song. He says, okay, so it might have been based on that, but Bill and I, he calls him Bill, we're always just outsiders. We never fitted in, as he puts it. We felt like imposters. We felt like we'd got in with forged papers. Even when we did get into parties, we were bored shitless. But we had to prove ourselves that we could get inside. For me, it's about feeling alienated, like you don't belong, and feeling also that other people seem to be doing it with ease. So again, just that whole part of just overthinking, for some people like Bill and Alan, and talking about how, yeah, it's easy for other people, I guess, to get into parties or just to make friends or have relationships or friendships, whatever it is. But for them, obviously, it was a different scene. And again, it's just, I like this point of view. Because again, as somebody who is anxious themselves, or is, kind of, shy or whatever, I feel this all over the place. I mean, I haven't been to too many parties. I mean, I've been to, I could count on one hand, I guess, how many parties I've been to. But again, I guess, it's just not my scene, but to get in there, it does feel cool. And then you get kind of bored, basically, and then you leave. So yeah, it's just, and one more thing that I learned here. Apparently, they wrote this song in like the late 70s. Apparently, it says the bulk of it was written in 1977. And then, in 1979, they kind of finished it off. But they didn't feel that they could release it at that time because punk was kind of not at its tail's end because, of course, other punk bands would come along. But, in the early 80s, they felt like they could release it. And they did in 1982. And as, they said here, they put it in their back pocket because they felt like art pop it wasn't the time to release art pop in 1977. So I just love that, they had that in their back pocket and they just knew that, when they released it, it would probably be good. They had the confidence there anyway. to know that, at some point art pop is going to come along and they can release this, and punk will kind of fade away, and there will be a new kind of thing. The new wave thing will really take over. So I just love that whole thing, that they had this in their back pocket. They already written it and everything, and then they finally released it a couple of years later or whatever. And then it's basically, I guess, their best known track, Party Fears 2. So anyway, yeah, just I guess everything I'm saying is just Billy Mackenzie. Just reading up on him is just like I said, sad story. But of course, he left a legacy here with the Associates, and I mean, a song like this, just that voice, I'm not going to forget that voice. I mean, holy crap. And so anyway, I guess that's all I gotta really say. The Associates, I'm glad I got to them after a request, so thank you for the request. And just rest in peace of Billy, of course. And shout out to Alan on the keyboards and the guitar here, and shout out to Martha Ladley as well, who did backing vocals apparently, and did do keyboards on some of the songs on Sulk, their album. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff. Really appreciate all the support, and I will definitely not forget Billy here, because that's one thing that I saw Bono anyway say, that he felt like people forgot him when he was happy, because when Bono was happy to see him before he died, I guess Billy was kind of surprised, and he felt like people forgot him. So I won't forget him. I just wanted to say, it's just sad. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Just this whole story, just reading up about him, just kind of got to me. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you guys again soon.